Greetings, dear listener. Welcome to our humble podcast. Here we will lead you to tales of the past, tales of the future, and tales of now. Tales of other realms, from within and without. Yes, indeed. Some tales complete, others a mere glimpse into larger worlds. Tales from the depths of our mind, tales inspired by the world around. Some happy, some sad, and some, well, dear listener, you'll have to make up your own mind. Welcome to Friday's Fantasy. Christmas Angel. It landed. Let me start again. He landed, and after a moment I could see very definitely that he was a he, with a crash and a thump of his mighty white wings, cracking the pavement in front of me with the force of his arrival. After I looked away and coughed several times, he folded his wings demurely about himself, but he still felt the need to sweep his long, platinum-covered hair about himself before resting it behind his head. He looked like an advert appealing to those who couldn't control themselves in the face of too much masculinity. I'm not one of those. I looked him up and down. I prayed to the Almighty 17 minutes ago. What sort of service is this? I'm in good standing, you know. His voice was like molten steel, and the echoes of his voice preceded his words by several seconds. Patience is also a virtue. Yes, it is. I think you'll find the matter urgent, however. I gestured to the child standing on the rock half a mile distant, surrounded by lava as the volcano rumbled. I looked at my car nervously, calculating that there was about 300 feet before the fire and subsequent molten rock cut off my escape. The creature looked over with what I judged to be an indifferent glance. A lamb for whom time has come to claim for the Lord, I fear. I felt the capital letters slide neatly into the sentence. Yeah, I said, my belligerence building. When I see old Clockface fetching up to bring the little kid upstairs for judgment, I'll kick his ass too. Fetch the boy off the rock. To do so would interfere with the natural course of events. The matter is out of my hands. No, it ain't. I rummaged in my bag, putting on a special glove with the 40 grit sandpaper on the fingertips before producing the paper. Even with the glove, I could barely grip it. The paper was so smooth that it threatened at any second to slip from my grasp. I couldn't actually feel it if I touched it with my bare fingers. It was like prodding something that wasn't there. I grasped the top, which crinkled and crumpled, but I knew when I let go there would be no sign of my treatment of it at all. Scribbled on it was an IOU, barely legible among the curlicues and illumination. It said one as a character, as a number. One miracle. On demand for Lee O'Mara, bearer of this note, Yahweh. My master would never write a 1 as a digit, said the angel, testing me. And you said you'd kick time's arse. That's not pure. You have to maintain your purity. He fiddled with his wingtip absently. The Lord excuses a little hyperbole in the times of stress. I was starting to feel a little desperate. I could see that the lava was a little higher and a little closer. I couldn't hear the boy, but my guess he'd gone beyond fear and was just praying. It wouldn't be heard. You have to be an expert and pure like me. It wasn't great for religion when we found out that the Lord was real, and in fact imposed some very rigid rules about what was good and what was bad. Most of the rules we humans had handed down since time immemorial were a bit wrong. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. It wasn't great for religion when we found out the Lord was real, and in fact imposed some very rigid rules about what was good and what was bad. Most of the rules we, humans, had handed down since time immemorial were a bit wrong. He made it pretty plain very quickly that most things were a metaphor. He didn't give a bugger about sex and sexual preference. Marriage was indeed a contract to further stable family relations, and being a wife was a job, not an obligation to love or provide personal service as a sex object. He wasn't really a he, and manifested as much female as male, and she made it clear that husbanding was a job, and most men had fallen down on it. Not only that, the Lord made it very clear that his second coming was much more in the nature of judgment. He didn't like any government, but particularly didn't like dictatorships, democratic republics, and he inserted the quotes, and capitalism. A few things got dismantled after he turned up looking like Charles Bronson. Robin Williams was right. We prayed a lot. I am an expert. The boy was not, and thus doomed, unless... "You going to honour this chit?" The beautiful angel sighed, and manifested some clothes, so as not to upset the boy. "Oh, all right then. I'm out one Christmas miracle. Worth it." The music for this episode was by Jazar from betterwithmusic.com, released under Creative Commons Share-alike license. The story was by Friday Jones, read by me, Friday. Critical feedback and support was provided by Hayley Hattle. This has been a podcast of Friday's Fantasies, Stories by Friday, and forthcoming, a serial. Find the podcast wherever you listen to yours.